Hello and welcome to my first YouTube video for my YouTube channel. I first would like to thank Brian Pearson for the inspiration in making these videos. You can find him also linked as favorites on my page. So this is my 2001 Roadstar project. Right now you're seeing the incarnation of what I call the 3.1 build. With this, I have won 2 first place custom trophies and 2 best of show trophies. And so I'm going to show you some of the things that I've done to this bike, and then we're going to look at what I'm calling my 4.0 build and some of the things I'm going to do to improve it over this next winter. So here we go. You can first see that it's not a stock Roadstar. There are many parts on here that are either custom fabricated by myself or have been bolted on or created specifically for this. So I'm going to go around the bike in just a second, but first off you'll notice it has a 2001 Gilroy, or actually it's a 1999, I'm sorry, 1999 Gilroy Indian front fender. And that's actually what started off some of my crazier builds back in when I first changed it from its stock to what it is now. And then you'll notice that I have a Harley Springer front end that was the project over this last winter. I had many hours in getting that on, and I want to thank many of my friends who came over and lent plenty of muscle, and some of my friends that lent a few tools. Okay, well, let's go around the bike looking at a few things. First I was talking about the front end, so let's look at the front end. So in general, when you put on a Springer front end on a motorcycle, you run it with 2 ways. You run it either with no fender, or you run it with a very small fender. But I wanted this to match up with the fantastic lines that Yamaha has done for this motorcycle, and wanted to make it, flow like the bikes from the 50s, so I had to have an Indian fender on the front of it. So in order to get the Indian front fender on, we had to modify it by adding these brackets to the Springer front end in order to get the fender on there. The welding of those brackets is the only thing on this bike I did not do myself. Other than that, it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So you can see it's a black powder coated Springer front end. I also have the chrome monoshock on the front of it, which helps greatly with the comfort of the ride. And so let's go around a little bit more. I have on there a pair of billet LED turn signals, and I have 10-inch Santee handlebars. A few of the other things we can notice, I have some of the Yamaha Black Bomber engine covers to kind of pull that black and silver back into the engine to match the front end. For the dash, modifications right now include a new speedometer face that I ordered from a gentleman who calls himself Web Slinger. And this one is modeled after the old Harley Police Special speedometers. The only difference between mine and the old speedometers is mine goes up to 120 miles an hour, and whereas they say Harley Davidson, I had mine changed to Roadstar. Okay, if we go, the seat is a Mustang Day Tripper. On the rear of the bike, we have a 1949 style Harley tail light that I have fitted onto the back, and I also fitted a LED board in the back. I also have clear turn signals with the red bulbs, and a Kuryakin triple whammy run turn brake kit installed. Back to this side, we can see currently I have Vance & Hines long shots, and the air cleaner is actually for a car. It's an RA066V K&N air cleaner, and then I took one of the covers from the engine that I removed when I added the Black Bomber kit, and I attached it to the center, and it matches up perfectly. I also have some of the Kuryakin flame covers for the pushrod tubes, and I painted those black with some engine paint to have them stand out a little bit, also to pull in that black and white theme. And I also installed an aircraft style gas cap setup. This was actually for Harley Davidson. I had to grind down the threads in order to get it to fit, and then I used epoxy to get it to stay. And so I'm just gonna go around the bike a couple times, let you have a look at some of the things I've done, because obviously I've done a lot more than I mentioned. And I added the white wall tires to add that nostalgic look. See new brake pedal covers. The front wheel is also a Harley Davidson wheel. However, you will hear me say this a few times, I can't leave things well enough alone. So whereas the Roadstar I feel is beautiful and it has won a number of trophies, I've won 7 trophies so far, I can't leave things well enough alone. We're going to have to move on to version 4.0. So here are a couple things we're going to change in version 4.0. First, the pipes. These are not stock Yamaha pipes, however, I don't feel they're adding to the flow very well. If you look, we have a nice flow with the front fender, we have a nice flow naturally with the body, and we have a flow with the Yamaha extended rear fender here. I don't feel that the exhaust is exactly going with it, so I'm thinking we're going to either custom make a set of dual exhaust, one on each side, or get something that flows with the whole bike, something that takes the fender into account. I've seen a number of pipes that will stop here, or some that will come and flow downward here, something to match this natural flow. Okay, now my other big change I want to happen, and this luckily will happen very soon. You notice, as I was talking about the flow, it sort of gets interrupted right here. The Harley tail light, even though it adds that nostalgic look, is out of place. It sticks out a little too far. Also, I used the stock Yamaha Roadstar turn signals here, and so this whole assembly on the back is just one big blocky mess, and I want to get rid of that, and I want something that'll help smooth that out. So I'm going to do another video in a moment. I'll show you what I'm planning on doing, but it involves a 1938 to 39 Lincoln Zephyr taillight. So the side covers, also I want to change something with the side covers. I either want to get chrome versions of the side covers, which will pull in more chrome to the engine, or I want to do something that eliminates the side covers entirely. Not quite sure what I'm doing yet. The air cleaner, whereas I like it, it's creative, I'm thinking I'm going to do something a little different. So we're going to add a side mount tail light, or not tail light, license plate bracket. I'm going to add the new tail lamp, and then I'm going to move the rear signals. The rear signals I want to match the front signal, so I'm going to get a pair to match the front, and then we're either going to attach them to the rear of the fender eyebrows. However, when I run bags, that would get in the way, or I may mount them near the tail lamp area. Might go through the fender and just have them on the outside. Once I get the tail lights, we'll play with the idea. Oh, when I was walking around earlier, I didn't mention that the color is actually Admiral Blue. This is Admiral Blue. It's the color they use on the 1996 Grand Sport Corvette. And then that's also a GM black I have on there. I've also lowered the rear end by 2 inches. And probably 3 or 4 dozen more things that I have forgotten to mention. Completely rewired the rear end and rewired the front end. I had to do many modifications to the frame and to the dash in order to get the Harley front end on. But this is a good starting point. I think I'll throw in some pictures on this video as well, and we'll move on and I'll start to show you what we're planning for the next step. Thank you.